There are some things that only humans can do, or so we thought. From surviving in extreme conditions to existing in multiple states of consciousness at once. It turns out humans can do some pretty amazing stuff. Here are 5 strange human abilities you might have not known. 5. You can survive being frozen. This next strange human ability can be life-threatening, so please don't try this at home. Scientists recently discovered that the ergot fungus produces a psychoactive chemical that can cause hallucinations, higher body temperature, dilated pupils, and nausea, among other symptoms. Think about it. How many times have you burst out laughing and the person next to you started giggling too? Or how about when you're feeling blue and everyone around you seems depressed? You can probably thank your facial expressions for these mood changes in others. In psychology, this phenomenon is known as emotional contagion. Studies have shown that contagious emotions can spread within a group setting, regardless of the observer's emotional state. In other words, you can't help but mimic the emotions of others. It's almost like catching a cold. In one experiment, researchers observed children on a playground. They found that if one child began crying, another child would start crying soon after. The same held true for smiling. If one child broke into a smile, another would follow suit. Emotional contagion appears to be involuntary. Children who couldn't see the other kids still mimicked their emotions. Even blind adults were affected by seeing another person's face and hearing their tone of voice. But what happens when someone spreads negative emotions? Unfortunately, negative emotions are just as contagious as positive ones. Fear, disgust, anger, and sadness can all be spread from one person to the next. Some experts say this is why fear of flying is so common. When one nervous flyer spreads their anxiety to others, everyone becomes tense and scared. Interestingly, it seems like women are better at spreading positive emotions while men are better at spreading negative ones. In other words, it causes an LSD trip. What's really bizarre is that this fungus grows on rye and barley, meaning humans have been inadvertently consuming LSD for centuries. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. That means our ancestors may have used rye as a recreational drug long before modern chemists synthesized LSD in a lab. While scientists haven't confirmed this theory yet, they're pretty sure that the ergot fungus was responsible for the bizarre behavior of early religious cults. Researchers also believe that it caused the strange visions experienced by St. Paul the Apostle, which he later wrote about in the Bible. To make matters even weirder, it seems that LSD gave some of our ancient ancestors superpowers. In anthropological records dating back thousands of years, there are stories of people who appeared to have superhuman abilities, including telepathy, clairvoyance, and precognition. Precognition is the ability to see into the future. All of these superpowers can be traced back to the consumption of psychoactive substances. Some researchers even speculate that certain shamanistic rituals were designed to induce an LSD-like state in order to unlock these special abilities. Whether you want to call them superpowers or something else, it's clear that psychedelics can dramatically alter human consciousness. Ever played the game where you try not to laugh and you lose? After all, there's a reason why they call it a sick day when you have the flu. Being sick isn't just physically uncomfortable, it's also exhausting. That's why resting when you're sick is so important. If you're run down, your immune system will never get healthy. However, you don't have to be constantly tired to recover. Just being in a relaxed state can help you fight off infections. There's even some evidence that laughter can improve the immune system. Laughter releases endorphins and reduces stress, both of which are crucial for fighting illness. One study found that people who laughed more frequently had higher levels of immunoglobulin, which is an antibody that helps fend off infections. Another study found that people who were funnier had stronger immune systems. But humans aren't just able to cure themselves of common illnesses. We can heal from injuries too. In fact, our bodies are equipped with natural painkillers and anti-inflammatory compounds. These natural painkillers allow us to continue functioning even when we're injured. And our anti-inflammatories help repair damaged tissues. However, Sometimes this healing process goes into overdrive and we end up with deformities. When our bones heal, they sometimes grow in the wrong places, causing gnarly bone spurs. Our bodies are also capable of rejecting foreign objects. When our immune systems come into contact with something that doesn't belong in the body, like a splinter, it triggers inflammation. This inflammation leads to pus, which eventually expels the object. Humans are even capable of regrowing body parts, although it doesn't happen very often. In 1970, doctors amputated part of a woman's arm after a severe injury. However, her body began regrowing the limb. Although the new tissue wasn't exactly useful, it did show that the human body has the ability to regrow lost body parts. Unfortunately, we still don't know how to control this ability. So if you ever lose a finger, don't expect it to regrow overnight. Well, researchers found that while you're trying to stifle your giggles, you actually can't breathe. This is an example of something called paradoxical laughter, or in this case, paradoxical breathing. According to a study conducted by the University of Minnesota, when you suppress your emotions, it activates your prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain that controls social behavior. In other words, your brain knows suppressing your emotions is weird, so it tries to compensate by making you breathe differently. But it doesn't stop there. Humans also have an uncanny ability to survive being frozen. And we mean like literally encased in ice. The most famous case was a 2-year-old girl named Gina Ginsler from Canada who fell through the ice on a frozen lake in -40°F. Her body was completely submerged in ice for about 2 hours, but she survived with only mild hypothermia. Even more amazing, her heart didn't stop beating during this entire time. Doctors said her survival was nothing short of a miracle. Number 4. You can exist in multiple states of consciousness. This next strange human ability is pretty mind-blowing. According to a study published in the journal Frontiers in Psychology, humans can exist in up to 7 different states of consciousness. We usually find ourselves in one of 3: wakefulness, sleep, or dreaming. However, studies show that the human brain can also experience 4 other states: drowsiness, light sleep, deep sleep, and dream sleep. But wait, it gets more confusing. Each of these states has subcategories. For instance, wakefulness has subcategories like alertness, concentration, and even boredom. Drowsiness has its own subcategories too, such as mental and physical fatigue. And that's just the beginning. In total, the study identifies 37 unique states of consciousness. Now, if you're wondering how researchers came up with all of this, it's pretty simple. They hooked people up to EGDs and measured their brain activity. An EGD, or electroencephalogram, is a test that measures electrical activity in the brain with sensors placed on the scalp. Researchers could use this device to measure brain waves and categorize different states of consciousness. So the next time someone says you're daydreaming, you can be like, actually I'm in the alpha wave state of consciousness between wakefulness and drowsiness. And then they'll think you ray crazy and you'll feel better because you ray no longer in the embarrassing state of having a conversation with someone who thinks you ray insane. No. 3. You can produce your own LSD. Alright, back to the list. No. 2. You can heal yourself. Next up, we have to talk about the human ability to heal. Number 1. You can influence others with your emotions. Last but not least, humans have the strange ability to influence others with their emotions. Now it's time to hear from you. Do you know any other strange human abilities? Let us know in the comments below.